Okay, live.
This one.
我寫就可能 Is it live?
Yes, it is.
Yay, it's live. Hi everyone.
Hello.
Let's see who's the first one.
Let's see who's the first one. 睇下你嘅先。
Got ready or one?
Got ready, who's that?
Hey, Bernice Heng for a change.
Bernice Heng. Oh. Hi Bernice. Thank you for
Hi,
joining.
Annie.
Annie from KK. Hi Annie. Thank you for tuning in. So
Brian.
Hi, Brian.
tonight we are slightly early. We are slightly early. Let's say hi,
Hi,
to
Michelle.
everyone. 用你聲先。你哋 say hi 啦嚇。So we're gonna recap what we have actually gone through last week. Just a brief recap. I hope that all of you have prepared your own Chinese astrology chart with you. Alright, so we will go through what briefly we have mentioned about last week before we actually go into this week's actual topic.
係啦，咁我哋今日咧就會講一下上個禮拜我哋講咗啲咩啦，因為今個禮拜咧我哋都會繼續講翻 depression 就係嗰個憂鬱症㗎喎。咁咩係憂鬱症咧？咁響八字入邊我哋應該點樣睇到憂鬱症咧？咁我哋今日咧就會做一個 recap 㗎啦。
係啦，咁其實咧呢一個咧係非常之有意義嘅一集啦，即係呢兩集我哋做咗，因為近排咧即係我哋會睇到身邊有好多朋友啊，即係工作上邊啊，或者係好多事情上邊咧，其實佢哋係非常之壓力嘅，即係我哋喺一個咁壓力嘅社會，我哋其實都需要就做一個 self-awareness， 睇下自己有冇呢一個 potential 係會有呢一個嘅憂鬱嘅。咁其實憂鬱並唔係一個好大件事嘅啫，只不過係你 aware 咗之後咧，即係要做出一啲你
憂鬱就好大件事。
係啦，
啱啦，點解咧？因為咧，我哋最緊要咧就係知道自己有冇呢個咁樣嘅 potential。係。如果或者係你嘅朋友有冇咁樣嘅 potential，你之後咧你係點樣去對症下藥？
係啊，尤其是自己嘅身邊嘅朋友同埋自己嘅屋企人啦，尤其是細路哥。其實細路哥冇話講係細個嗰陣時係冇，其實有好多時候憂鬱症都係來自細個嗰陣時開始嘅。
啱㗎，而家好多阿爸阿媽咧，日日俾佢補習啦，等又學鋼琴啦、畫畫啦，等之後又數學啦，
或者係一定要考第一名啦。
係啦，
我聽到都憂鬱症。
係啊。
所以呢啲都係可能嘅憂鬱症嘅一個來源嚟嘅。OK。
咁樣我哋就 recap 翻，即係上個星期我哋講過啦。咁如果首先咧就一定係要 plot 一 plot 自己嘅八字先啦，去 www.astrology 咁樣向呢一個八字上邊咧，你就睇翻自己有邊一個嘅，即係你會睇到呢一個類似咁樣嘅。
呢個就係一個 sample 啦，咁你就可以去到我哋嘅 Astrology 嘅一個嘅 website， 然之後咧去 plot 呢個 chart 出嚟嘅咯喎。咁喺呢個 chart 入邊咧，你就會大概睇到，我哋之前講過有啲咩係會有呢個憂鬱症嘅可能性嘅。咁今日咧，我哋都會喺我哋嘅日元咧去睇呢個憂鬱症嘅。咁我哋先做呢個 recap 先。
Okay. All right. We are just trying to delay some time, as you can see. We are early this week, and we're going to recap to you is what we have covered last week, and then before we actually go into this week's topic itself, where we go into the detail of what actually causes depression in a particular person. Because last week we have actually shared with you how to see from a person's chart itself the possibilities of a person might go into depression. Because it's that is the first step of awareness. It's whether you have the potential to actually plunge into depression or not. So this week itself, if you have checked your chart, so this week we want to see what actually causes that particular person to go into that state of depression. So now it's a recap of last week first, and of course, Hui Yi and Wai Yun here has nicely written down, alright, okay, what we have actually covered last week, and I will allow them to actually explain to all of you here in Cantonese first briefly, and then I will cover it up in English in a short while.
OK， 咁第一個咧就係金水多情局啦。咁通常如果你嘅八字入邊咧有好多我哋叫水啦同埋金嘅 element 喺入邊嘅話咧， 咁呢個咧就係我哋叫通常會好多嘅情緒波動㗎。點解咧？因為金生水啊嘛。咁你嘅水好多，你一直去 produce 嘅時候咧，咁水代表啲咩？對，水就代表咗情緒啦，我哋嘅 emotion 啦。So 如果你嘅 emotion 太多嘅話，又冇地方去發泄嘅話，咁可能你就會有呢個 depress 嘅呢個可能性
傾向啦，
喎。
係啦。
OK，next one。
咁第二個咧就係呢一個嘅水火相沖啦。咁呢一個相信大家都好清楚嘅，即係火同埋水合埋一齊咧，即係會打交嘅。係啦。係啦。咁如果你嘅即係如果你自己本身嘅八字上邊，佢好多水同埋好多火嗰陣時咧，即係你好多時候咧，即係會同自己嘅思想上邊咧有一啲衝突啊，所以變成你呢一個都會影響到呢個情緒即係會波動嘅。
啱。咁第三個咧就係我哋叫 resource 啦。咁咩係 resource？就係你俾你好多印星啦，咁你好多嗰個resources 嘅。咁通常咧 resource 代表咗我哋嘅諗法啦。咁如果你日日淨係喺嗰度諗嘅時候咧，太多嘅諗法，太多嘅思考，但係你又冇一個管道去發泄出嚟，或者係去俾你去流出嚟咧，咁呢個時候咧，通常你都會有好多壓抑嘅感覺嘅。係啦，咁即係所謂維論講呢一個 resource 印星咧，係比較佢係吸收多啲嘅，即係佢自己會諗到好多嘢，或者好中意諗過去啊，或者係好多時候係收埋啊，所以有啲人咧有時候你睇到一啲朋友咧，佢其實係好少分享起自己嘢，通常都係印星係比較多啲嘅，係啦。咁接落嚟咧就呢一個第四個咧就係我哋叫做 output star。咁 output 本身咧就係同 resource 係掉翻轉頭嘅喎。咁另外即係頭先嗰個咧係太靜啦，呢個咧係啦，佢淨係吸收嘅。呢個咧就係講太多啦，或者佢要做嘅，即係佢做嘢係比較 aggressive 啲啦，因為佢要 create 一啲嘢出嚟，所以佢一直要 perform 啊，一直要表現自己。咁通常呢一個性格咧，佢會有自我信心，都會係比較高啲嘅，即係或者係佢對佢自己嘅要求係會比較高嘅。係啦，通常 output 嘅人咧都會有帶少少我哋叫完美主義。係啦，完美主義者。係啦，咁第五個咧就係 influence 嘅咯喎，意思話咧就係好多嘅壓力啊，好多嘅人睇住你，甚至係你對你自己本身嘅要求係非常之高嘅。點解咧？如果你將自己放喺一啲好多嘅規條入邊嘅話咧，咁你就係我哋叫限制緊自己㗎啦，綁住自己，咁你就好難去創造一啲嘢啊，或者係去同，因為你對自己嘅要求太過完美咗，所以咧好多時候咧你會一直批判自己啦，所以令到自己嘅心情上面都會有好大嘅一個壓力嘅。係啦，咁其實咧，如果我哋往好嗰方面睇咧，其實佢都可以代表係講自己係一個警察啊，或者自己係一個 guru discipline。啱啦。即係你會限制自己啦，即係會對你自己會有好多個小聲音。你想做少少嘢咧，你就會同自己講：唔好啊！有一個魔鬼出嚟會同你講：你唔好啊！如果你咁樣做嘅話，會點樣？或者另外一個魔鬼又出嚟講：你去做啦！你咁去做，即係你會即係一直不斷同自己講好多啦，或者係會影響到嘅。係啦，或者批判自己。咁呢幾個元素咧，通常係過多嘅情況之下，咁你就冇以為講，哎呀死啦！我有呢個印星啦，我有呢個output star 啦，咁你就係有咁樣嘅情緒問題喎。咁唔係㗎，係你成個八字入邊咧有過多嘅情況咧。嗱，譬如話好似呢個啦。嗰個觀察啦，成日嗰個觀察嘅。係啦，嗰個觀察五集。係啦，呢個係啦 seven killing。嗱，好多啦，就係你會睇到，大部分都係水㗎咯喎，咁水咧就係佢嘅觀察啦，咁咧就可能對佢嚟講嘅話，佢有好多嘅壓力啦，好多嘅規條啦，好多嘅嗰啲我哋嘅 rules 去遵守㗎啦。OK。
So, what they have actually just said is actually to recap of last week's episode, okay? So I'm going to quickly go through last week's episode with you in English here. And then of course, like those of you that followed last week, right, you know we have actually listed down the 5 types, okay, or 5 different ways to look into a person's chart to see the potential of a person going into depression. And of course, the first type will be when the whole chart itself is filled with water and metal elements. If you look at your chart, out of the 8 boxes there, majority of the 8 boxes are all comprising of metal and water. The person also has a very high tendency to go into depression. Now, just remember this: metal is the element that produces water, and water is our emotion, our feelings. Okay, and because like water is the element, is keep on fluctuating and moving all the time, and emotions in a person is something that is fluctuating and moving and changing all the time. So when you have resources, means metal is there to produce you, right? Okay, means if you have one feeling that leads your emotions towards that particular feeling, all right, it is fine because you have clarity. But imagine now in your whole chart, you have different types of metal attracting you and pulling you into different direction. Now the water or your emotions become lost. Too many things, too many feelings, too many emotions, okay, without clarity. So there is a potential for you to go into depression. Now the second one is the chart comprises of majority water and fire. When the chart full of water and fire itself, right, it is a clashing element. Just imagine that water is our emotion, and water is like as calm as the water is, our emotion is also calm. It represents that. But imagine now a person's chart is water filled with fire, boiling with fire, always constantly boiled. When the water is always constantly boiled, right, okay, it cannot settle, it cannot rest, it cannot calm. So the emotion of a person is also the same thing. They become impulsive, they become aggressive, okay, they become impatient, all right, and chances of they become bad-tempered is also higher potential. Okay, so water and fire also means that it denotes a person that can actually act impulsively towards certain situations. Okay, and then the last three will be either too much of resources, either IR or DR. We have actually shared with you how to look for these elements in your chart. If you have not followed, okay, please replay back our previous video. So we will teach you exactly how to look for all these resources, either IR or DR. Now, resource represents an element, okay, that is our thoughts, our feelings, our memories. Okay, now imagine a person go into depression is when our body is at present. Now this is present, this is your present moment, this is where we are now at this moment. Now resources star itself, right, affect our mind to live in the past. Okay, because resources is all about our memory, our thoughts, the things that have happened to us before, and it's like all these things that we keep within us. So if you have too much of resource means, right, okay, we constantly live in the past where our physical body is at the present. And remember that whenever our mind always live in the past, think of the past things that's happened to us, okay, whatever failure that we have had in the past, and we keep on holding on to this, where else we are currently at the present itself. This gap, the bigger the gap, the bigger chances that we have depression in our life itself. Now, where else the next one will be output. Now, output, just now we saw resource is about living in the past, backwards. Output is something about in the future. Now, in the future means, right, okay, output is an element, okay, this is the future, all right, and output is an element that constantly think about, like, you know, the future to come, because it's a creative element. It's an output element, it's creativity, it's our desire, something in front of us that we want to achieve, our imaginations, our actions, okay, something that's yet to happen but we want it to happen. So if you have a lot of output, eating God or hurting officer, EG or HO in your chart itself, right, our physical body is here, and yet our mind always lives into future. We worry about what's going to happen to us 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. We worry what is going to happen to the relationship. We worry about what's going to happen to your children. We worry what is going to happen to your job and all these things. And the more we worry about the future and we think about the future where it has yet to happen, and the bigger the gap, the higher the chances that we will get into a depression. And of course, the last one will be output. The last one will be influence. Influence, which is the direct officer or 7 killings, which is 7K or DO star. Now, these stars are the stars that counter yourself in terms of the 5 elements. When it counters you, it means self-criticism. It's like these are the people that always think that they're not good enough. Okay, they're a failure. Even though whatever achievement that they have achieved in life itself, they will still think they are not at the position where they are satisfied yet. They always dream and they always desire of that power, authority. Okay, and all these things makes them also a very careful person. Too careful, they become suspicious. They cannot trust. They cannot trust the people around them. They cannot trust their partner. They cannot trust even their family member, and even they cannot even trust themselves. Okay, so imagine that if you need to actually live in an environment where you have trust problem, where you always constantly think that you are not good enough, and whatever your achievement is always not well enough, you always attract stress to yourself, or you create, I would say, stress for yourself. So normally, influence stars itself, right, psychologically, they are the people who needs power, authority, desire for power, and they cannot lose. Then in Chinese, we call 虚美呀. Okay, so that's why, therefore, if you have this particular combination of chart itself, right, the chances of you going into depression is also higher. Okay. So after covering, yeah, because
Jessie 講 No, because Jessie 一個人講晒5個咧，佢講到就嚟冇氣啦。
Yeah, okay, 一口氣啊 ，OK
係啦。
Alright, so now that we can actually go into this week's chart itself. Now, the first thing is, of course, we need to know whether we have the potential to go into like depression or not. Now, after knowing that potential, we also need to know how to see from a Bazi chart itself, right? What actually causes or trigger this depression? And most of the time, depression is actually a long-term memory. It can be a childhood trauma. It can be a childhood memory that it has been triggered or instigated or instilled inside us. Even sometimes way before we even realize, okay, that particular issues or situations or people in our life impact us so much.
係啊，咁其實 Jessie 咧講咗一個係非常之好嘅 point 啦。有好多時候係我哋即係認為咧，即係身邊有啲人啊，或者甚至乎自己可能會有呢個憂鬱嘅，但係其實即係最緊要佢個 root cause 啊，即係佢最重要嘅原因其實係來自邊度咧？其實好多人係唔知道嘅。
啱啦，因為其實我哋嘅原因有好多種，可能係屋企人啦，可能係朋友啦，可能係伴侶啦，可能我哋自己或者係社會俾我哋嘅壓力嘅。咁如果你知道咗啦，一個人嘅 chart 你 identify 到，頭先佢有咁樣嘅問題，係可能性有憂鬱症嘅呢個可能性有高嘅話咧，咁我哋就要去睇下啦，到底佢呢個嘅 cause 就係佢嘅原因係邊度嚟㗎啦。
其實最緊要都係講翻呢一個係要最對症下藥啦，即係啦有 depression 所，但係最緊要即係唔係講因為你工作啊，或者係因為啱啱你分手咗，所以先會有搞到自己有憂鬱。其實並唔係嘅。其實我哋如果再深入去探討之後咧，其實我哋係應該要對症下藥去睇翻個本身嘅原因係去邊度嘅。
係啦，譬如話好似如果虛擬咧，佢有憂鬱症可能性啦，但係我哋嚟睇翻嘅時候咧，你淨係知道佢有憂鬱症，咁你傷心啲咩嘢啊？或者你唔開心啲咩嘢？
下灌去食藥係無補於事。
係啊，其實講到呢個都係好 good point 嘅，即係唔係講食藥唔好，即係食藥咧係可以控制自己嘅，但係長期嚟講咧，其實係一定要揾翻嗰個原因係響邊度啦。
係啦，個 root 喺邊度啦，個根喺邊度。咁我哋今日咧就會嚟講，到底乜嘢元素咧會有啲乜嘢原因嘅？
Yeah, okay. So today we're going to share with you, right, from your Bazi chart itself, right, okay, what actually causes the potential of that depression that's going to be triggered in your chart itself, okay? So the first part, we already say that whether you have the potential to have depression or not. And the second part is like what actually triggered it, what causes it, okay? So from your Bazi chart, as you have seen here, like we is drawing out your Bazi chart. Now, we're going to focus on your day pillar. Now, day pillar means, right, in your chart itself, you have the year pillar, which is on your extreme right. You have the month pillar, day pillar, and also the hour pillar. Okay, now our focus for today itself is on the day pillar. When I say day pillar means you look at both the element on top and the element at the bottom of the day that you were born. Okay, now I want you to identify on this particular column here, there are two elements, one on top, one at the bottom. Some of you might have like same element. Okay, under some circumstances, you might have the same element. Means that if you have metal here, you might see metal here as well. So some of you might have different element. Now, this is what Wyden is going to show you. Right, focus on the day pillar itself. You have same element, means on top and below itself comprises of the same element. If you are not sure what element it is written down there on your chart. Either it is earth, or it's metal, or it's water. Just identify what element is it written there. Okay, so when you look at this now, some of you might have two different elements. Now, if you have two different elements, right, then there are two aspects that you might want to look into and focus into so that you can pay attention to that particular aspect and ask ourselves, all right, does this thing affect us in our life itself? Now, this is a moment that it is important for everyone to take a step back, to relax. Hopefully all of you are at home, okay, no one is like really bothering you, right, no one is like really making a lot of noises, so that after, like, when you are actually going through this, at the same time you are asking yourself questions. You're asking yourself whether like, these things has this happened to your life before? Does it affect you? So that when you realize about it, then only you can come to a closure for it. Because a lot of times, right, when these things happen, we don't pay attention to it. We don't even know that these are the things that it has hurt us so much in our life itself. Okay? Yeah. So now we want to pay attention to that. And of course, when you look at your day pillar, right, we want to see what are the elements that you find. You will find that there are altogether 5 potential elements, which is like fire, then we have metal, we have earth, and then we have like water, and we have also wood. Okay, so Hui is going to write down to you now, okay? Now, if you find that on your day pillar here, they are fire element, either two of them or either one of them, if it's fire element, then the trigger of depression itself is actually triggered by family-related issues. Okay, so if it's like fire element itself is family-related issues, now it could means that, okay, it means that since young itself from family, you have to look into your parents, your father and your mother figure in your life itself, okay, right, any potential or possibilities of rejection from the family, okay, right, lack of love, attention in the family itself, or lack of recognition from the family or both parents that you are longing for, because when you have that fire element there, the chances is like, you know, these are the people suffers or eventually suffers from depression triggered from family-related things, okay, so you might want to look into like example, if a child that do not get any recognitions or reward from their parents, means no attention has been given whatsoever from the parents itself, right, the child will somehow grow up to have a potential that they think and they believe that they need to do a lot of things either to be extremely successful or outstanding or whatsoever in order to get their parents' attention. Okay, because they need the attentions and validations from their parents. So they will subconsciously trigger themselves to do a lot of things that will somehow trigger the attention of the parents, or vice versa. If a child having too much attention, too much recognitions, too much rewards from the parents. It means that the parents are so busy with work, you know, example, sometimes we feel guilty of not giving enough attention to our children, but we give in the sense of rewards. We buy them whatever they need in life itself. We give them whatever material things that they needed in life itself, okay? So other than that, right, okay, the children has a potential to grow up feeling very superior over things, because to them, whatever they want, they need to be able to get. So when they're old enough, right, and then when they first feel rejection in life, whenever they feel that whatever they request, the idea they propose to the bosses, they try to like, you know, chase a certain guy or a certain girl and they got rejected, these are the moments they feel that it's like the world crumbling down on them, because throughout their life itself, whatever that they wanted has never been rejected. Whatever that they wanted, even though they are not up to par or they are not up to the standard, the parents still think that they are the best. They give them the rewards without really making them work hard for it. So because of this mentality itself, once they are older, they might find that, okay, like simple little failure or rejection from the people around them, right, they find it very difficult to actually accept it, because it has never happened to their life before.
咁 Jessie 啊，如果頭先你講翻火係代表呢一個屋企人或者係父母啦，咁如果係關於係屋企人嘅話，咁自己本身嘅兄弟姊妹算唔算咧？
Yeah, it can also means like, you know, from the family, from the brothers and sisters as well. But normally, right, okay, unless that you have a very big gap between brothers and sisters, right? But let's say if it's like 1-2 years or 2-3 years itself, right? Normally the impact is not as strong comparative to the parents. Because parents are normally our first, how to say, figure in life itself that we look up to, that we need love from them, and that when we learn how to love itself. Okay, so these are the two that you can translate now.
OK， 咁火，如果你嘅day master
或者係任何嘅，
係啦，喺呢個 P 咧入邊咧有火嘅 elements 嘅話咧，咁可能有兩個可能性啦。第一個可能性咧就係你響細個嘅時候咧，得唔到你嘅 parents 係你嘅父母嘅呢個關愛啦，或者係你佢哋你父母 reject 咗你啦，或者係通常譬如話好似你要啲咩嘢都唔俾你嘅。咁可能咧，你就會覺得佢唔愛你啦。咁響呢個咧就會令到你長大嘅時候咧，會seek for attention。咁你就會做好多嘢去得到 attention 噶啦。OK， 咁另外一個可能性咧就係可能你太過關注啦，太過關愛啦，咁令到你響大個嘅時候咧，慢慢長大嘅時候咧，你覺得反而總言之，我要啲咩嘢，我父母都俾我嘅。係啊，
其實好經常我都好多呢啲事情發生咧。
我覺得依家越嚟越多。係
啦，即係你細個咧話去喊啊，咁要俾個 iPad 去睇先。係啦，或者係去學校嗰陣時，或者俾人
抱住佢嘅。
係啦，或者係佢俾人恰。其實講真啦，即係好似我細嗰陣時俾人恰咧，我老豆真係會去學校嗰度，即係問即係 問我自己嘅同學嘅，點解你蝦我個女啊咁樣樣嘅？
唔係喎，我細個嘅時候咧，我個老師打我嘅話咧，我阿媽就會同我講：係啊，啱㗎，要打㗎。
係啊，其實都有真係有影響，因為本身我自己都有一個火嘅。咁坦白講，咁講真呢個火，即係可能來自父母啦。即係我細個嗰陣時好細個咧，即係為咗要得到我個父母嘅關注，其實我真係做咗非常之唔應該做嘅嘢。
例如係啦，秘密啦，最深嘅秘密。
咁樣都唔算秘密嘅。But if you realize that if your children or whatsoever have a fire element on the day pillar itself, right, it means that it could actually trigger them to actually do something in order to seek our attention. So as parents itself, it's very important for us to actually look into it. What is their need? Alright, in the first place. Now I always say one thing, okay? Now children, they never need perfection. Children needs connection. As parents itself, right, okay, this is like, as I journey through my parenthood, as a mom itself, right, I realized that I used to be a tiger mom. I'm still very strict and I'm very fierce, but comparatively now I become a cat mom.
A cat mom. A leopard.
No, leopard worse lah. So I become a cat mom, okay? So like cat 要睇情緒㗎嘛. Sometimes crazy, sometimes not, okay? Alright, so it's like, over my parenthood itself, I realized one thing, because before this is like, as a parent, right, I've always wished that I can actually give the best to the children in terms of like, environment, the best education, the best things for them to actually have in life. But I've forgotten one thing which is very, very important, which I realized later on, of course, like, when I started bonding with them, that I realized that all children, all they ever need is just connection with the parents, but never perfection. But the things of like, what is going on the parents' mind is, they think of perfection for the children. They want them to have the best school, that the best grades, the best teacher, the best teacher, everything is the best. But the thing is that the only thing, in order for them to achieve the best, they have to send them out. Okay, like tuitions, classes, extracurricular activities and all these things. And by doing all these things, it actually lacks the time of the parents actually spend connection with those children itself. And these are the things, if you have a fire element here, you might see that these are the things that might affect your children. At the end of the day, they feel void inside, they feel empty, because they don't feel and they don't learn the love that they're supposed to learn from their parents.
係啦，講到呢度其實咧，我都想補充下嘅。其實你有時候有啲父母話，佢會察覺到啲細路哥咧，到咗2歲3歲，佢識得爬、識得行嗰陣時咧，佢會做一啲嘢係你唔明白嘅，即係打個比喻，佢可能會嘈，好跟住嘈啦，走嚟走去啦，或者係佢會要求好多嘢啦，一直想同你講嘢啦，一直拉住你，即係你會唔明白做乜嘢，佢好似做一啲好奇怪，其實細路哥係非常之 creative 嘅，其實真係諗好多辦法令到父母去關注嘅。咁其實我都唔介意同大家分享咧，即係其實我細個真係做咗好多嘢，
做盡壞事，
真係做盡壞事啦！即係我試過，係啊，因為我快咗嚟㗎嘛。其實我真係有試過自殺啦，真係有嘅。即係我唔係去自殺，但係我真係會拖住個凳咧，係特登俾我媽聽到嘅。
It means that they will do a lot of things, like according to Hui Yi, right? She also has a fire on her day pillar. It means that these are the people that will potentially do a lot of things to attract your attention, so that they can actually get the affection from you. So as parents itself, it is also very important, alright, for us to look into this if you have children with a fire in their day pillar itself, okay? Whereas if you are yourself and you're an adult and you find that you have a fire in your day pillar, you might want to look into whatever harm or whatever unhappiness that the family or the parents have brought into your life itself, either consciously or subconsciously, and you try to accept it and you try to forgive them, and you must learn to trust, as in like your parents have done the best that they could as a parent themselves. They are also at a learning curve, because they say, for instance, if you have a fire in your element and you know that probably from young you have witnessed your parents fighting, family gone through a lot of chaos or a lot of fighting and unhappiness, there's not enough of loving in the family itself, all this thing might trigger you and affect you in your mind, and you believe that love is not existing, right, relationship is not existing. All right, all relationship is a failure and people are bound to be unhappy, and all these things can be playing in your mind that will subsequently affect your own relationship and your own family eventually.
Yes.
Okay, so these are the things. Now, of course, one of the example that we have actually prepared here is this particular chart. All right, now this is a chart of Leslie Cheung. Now, those of you who know him, you know that Leslie Cheung, Zhang Gok-Wing is actually, he actually died suicide. Okay, he actually, I think, jumped down from Mandarin Oriental in Hong Kong, if I'm not mistaken. And then in his chart itself is a Ren Wu. Now, Ren Wu means he has a very high tendency to be affected of fire element, especially if you see from the chart, fire element is also one of the most prominent element in his chart. It means that I have not really Googled about his childhood, I have not really Googled about his relationship with his parents, but by looking at the chart itself, okay, you will see that a lot of times, right, from his chart, he will have a lot of like childhood trauma, childhood issue that has been inflicted in him, okay, that is caused by family. So the chances is he might not actually come from a family with is a very loving family, where he has a very loving parents that give him both paternal and maternal, means the yin and yang love energy into him. So the potential of him generating depression at his adulthood is actually also a trigger from the family members itself.
係啦，咁我做咗一啲 research 咧，咁佢其實有10個兄弟姊妹嘅，啱啦。咁響個internet 咧，響佢嘅 internet 入邊咧，咁佢又好少提到佢嘅 father 㗎，好少提到佢嘅 families 啦。所以其實如果係咁樣嘅話，你大概都可以知道佢同佢嘅 father 同埋 mother 嘅 bonding。
Okay, thanks to Wai Lun, he actually done some Google research on Leslie Cheung. Then apparently Leslie came from a family of 10 siblings, right? And 10 siblings, and throughout his like Wikipedia or like biography and all that, right? He actually seldom mentioned about his father, or nor his parents, nor his childhood. Okay, so by looking at this itself, right? Okay, there could be a possibility is that he doesn't really come out from a very like no happy childhood, or what we call
try to
like
deny something.
or a very good relationship with the father as well. So that could be one of the trigger of the possibilities. Okay, so now the next example that we want to look into is those of you with a metal in your day pillar. It means that in your day pillar, either the on top here or the earthly branch here are both metal, or either one of these particular elements itself is metal element. Now, what are the people that affect us if we have a metal in our day pillar itself that might actually lead us or trigger us into depression in the future? Now, metal itself relates to partners in our life. Okay, partners and relationship that we have, intimate relationship that we have in our life itself. Boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife itself, and this is also relating to the confidence issues, okay, when we get out of a relationship. Now see, all relationship is a how to say, a platform for us to learn, to grow, to be better as a person, okay, and our relationship is someone that reflects on us so that we grow the lessons that we need to learn in life itself. So if you have a metal element here, right, the chances is the person might have some how to say, negative impacts from a relationship. Now, negative impacts in relationship, it happens most of the time. Now, a lot of times here as like human beings and all that, right, very seldom we can get like a love relationship, the first one which is the last one, right? Okay, some of you might have that, but not everyone might actually go through that process. A lot of times it's all trial and error. A lot of times it's all about the potential for us to grow from one relationship to another relationship. Now, but if we can't see through these tests or trials, okay, means that if we are so stubborn and so rigid into looking into the negative impact without letting go, okay, of all this negative impact that has been affected us in our relationship itself, there is a chance that we might go into depression. Okay, now for instance, right, okay, when it goes to metal elements, right, some of the direct ways, if we have an abusive partner, if you have a partner that actually means physical abuses or emotionally abuses, you see, abusive doesn't mean only physical, it can be emotional abusive as well. It can be intentional or non-intentional, means either it's conscious or subconscious. It means if you get a partner who consciously calls you by names of like making fun of you, like calling you ugly, calling you stupid, calling you like like bad, you will never learn it, you are like you are never as good. If people directly call you this is a kind of abusive relationship. Or sometimes the person might not straightforward call you names, right? They won't straightforward call you ugly. But what they do is they torture you subconsciously. It means that they're your partner, they're your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or they're your husband or your wife, right? But when you go out with them, immediately they pay their attention and affections to other girls or other men. Okay, it means that when they're with you, but once a girl walks past or a guy walks past, they put all their attention towards these people. Or you go out with your friends, they pay more attention to all your beautiful friends rather than you. This is also a kind of abusive. Okay, it is also a kind of a way that now your partner have instigate or instill self-esteem issues into yourself without directly telling you about it. Okay, so you have to bear in mind, if you have a matter over here and you have this kind of relationship where your husbands or your wives or your girlfriends or your boyfriends do not respect you as a partner, it is time for you to wake up and save yourself from it.
But Jessie 啊，咁好似頭先你講啦，咁金嚟講咧，即係我哋再 recap 翻阿 Jessie 講噶啦，即係如果你本身自己嘅八字中間呢一個日柱呢度咧有呢一個金嘅，咁其實你嘅憂鬱係來自係你嘅partner啦，即係你嘅你嘅伴侶啊，或者係你嘅老公啊、老婆啊、情侶啊之類嘅。咁因為佢哋本身係即係有時候有啲情侶佢會打佢啊，用暴力嘅傾向。可能係有兩種可能性，一種係身體上面嘅 abuse 係你嘅虐待，另一種係精神上嘅虐待。即係好似你嘅如果伴侶係會成日睇出邊女仔啊、男仔啊咁樣嘅，咁嗱 Jessie 係啦，婚外情。咁我想問啦，咁其實呢啲有啲嘢係我哋講陰同陽噶嘛，咁其實會唔會係因為佢哋自己本身即係有金入邊，佢自己本身都會亂諗嘢咧，即係佢會覺得佢睇隔你個女仔係咪因為我唔靚啊？即係佢對自己冇咩信心嘅，所以佢會比較在乎另外一半去點樣睇佢自己。
Now, Hui is asking if you have matter in this particular day period itself, does it mean that your self-esteem also has an issue or your self-confidence is an issue that whenever your partner looks at other girls or praises other girls or give affection to other girls, right, you will start to think that you are you are less loved or you are not so good and all that. Now you see, in the first place, when you find a partner, a real partner or a real gentleman is there for you means in their life or in their eyes itself, their respect is into you. Now to me, to be very honest, right, there's no such thing as 多餘諗嘅. There's no such thing as you think. Because the thing is, okay, the chances is like once if a partner truly respects you, right, they will do whatever it takes to make you feel confident. They will make you feel safe. They will make you feel protected. Okay, even though if they have needs to actually, of course, it doesn't mean that they cannot talk to other people.
Yeah.
Alright, but even though when they talk to other people, you will know, right? Always learn to trust our instinct. Okay, right. The thing is, we will know whether they talk out of like mutual friends or they talk with intention. Okay, the calling is always there one, but the thing is, right, the person that might go into depression is, right, the chances is they fail to actually stand up for themselves. They fail to actually trust because of the self-esteem is already low, right? So whenever these things happen, right, they choose to think that, oh my God, I am that bad. I am so bad that now is like my boyfriend needs to do this to me, my husband needs to do this to me, or my girlfriend and my, I am just useless, I'm just not good enough. So it's they themselves that choose to think this way. Alright, where of a person with without a self-esteem issues, right, they will know that straight away the person who give the slightest actions that disrespect them in a relationship, they will know that this is not the relationship for them, and they have learned their lesson and they will move on in life.
係啦，咁即係可能喺呢一個 matter 即係金上邊咧，可能有好多時候係非常之在乎另外一半嘅對自己嘅諗法啦，或者係佢做咗某啲嘢，你會開始覺得哎呀死啦！我另外一半佢為我做咗咁多嘢，但係我都仲咁樣，即係佢會有即係自己其實都會有精神上邊嘅折磨上㗎啦，即係太過依賴。
If you have a partner who always calls you fat or who is call you skinny, some even right, okay, you see there are some partners out there they will just call the girlfriends, right?
Flat.
Flat. Like no boobs, okay?
Yeah.
Like boobless or call them flat. As in, they will use all this psychological attack over a person, or even not only men do that, okay? Even women. I have actually have friends who gathers around and actually make fun of their boyfriend's penis. Really. Alright, and imagine when these things doesn't really start only when we're in adulthood. It doesn't really start when we are in our 20s or our 30s relationship. Imagine nowadays, right? Partners or relationship, right, starts as early as primary school. You have children, you will understand what I mean. Primary school children already started writing love letters to one another. And you know how innocent are primary school students? When you try to write love letter to them, some of them, it doesn't mean that they come from a harmful perspective. It's just the way they are. They will just shove it back to your face and say, don't even you think about trying to love me, you ugly face. Imagine if someone tells that to your children, straight to their face, or even imagine that someone tells your children that, oh my God, look at yourself, you're so ugly or you're so fat. Okay? Don't think ever that you're gonna get a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Now, these are what I meant by abuse from partner. It means that it doesn't mean it needs to be like adult husband or wife or when you're in adulthood. It happens as early as in your childhood, when you're in your primary school, when you're puppy love, when you're first love, and you get rejected and a big blow to your face. This will become an impact to your future growth and also your future relationship.
睇嚟阿慧倫咧，你細個應該冇咁樣嘅問題咯。
哦，OK，
人見人
俾人見人
應該係水嘅問題，
車見車載咁樣，即係咧都唔會有人講話慧倫你好醜樣啊咁樣，冇可能㗎。
咁其實咧好多時候咧，咁你就要睇啦。咁咪話，我發現咧好多，因為你睇有啲人咧係會覺得，哇你好靚仔你，或者你好靚女啊，通常冇咩問題㗎。
你幾靚仔下㗎。
但係咧就有啲人就會講。唔係㗎，我其實咧係覺得我自己唔夠好啊，或者咩好多係有咁樣嘅人㗎嘛，啱唔啱？係咁其實咧嗰啲咧都可能係另外一種問題啦，咁就唔係個 partner 嘅問題。係啦，咁可能我哋再探多下，即係來自邊度嘅問題。
Yeah, and then also I've also prepared an example here relating to metal. Okay, so this chart is actually Christine Chubak. Now, Christine Chubak, if you look at her chart itself, right, okay, her chart is actually full of metal. It's pure metal. It's Geng-shen. So now, Christine Chubak, right, those of you who have not heard about her, you can Google about her, okay? She's an American television news reporter. You can Google Wikipedia about her. Now, go to the part where it talks about her death. Okay, in Wikipedia, when you talk about Christine Chubak, now why I want to take her example is Christine Chubak is actually the first personality, TV personality that committed suicide in front of a TV live show. It means that the show, she's a news reporter. It means that she finished reporting that particular news and she pulled out her gun and fire, okay, triggered the fire itself, okay, and committed suicide in front of thousands of people who are watching her, okay. So if you look into Christine Chubak, okay, Wikipedia itself under the death portion, now it is clearly stated that, okay, she actually has a long struggle about the depression, okay, and from here you can also see that, okay, now she has, the people around her commented, okay, that she has this lacking, now her focus is like the lacking of relationship, okay, in her life itself that forces her into depression. It is clearly written in the Wikipedia, right? Everyone around here, even though her mother later summarized that her suicide was simply because her personal life was not enough. And the mother said that when she died, she is actually approaching her 30th birthday and she was still a virgin. And she never had been on to more than 2 dates in her life. And the first date itself, I think, met with an accident and a car accident and died. So imagine that this relationship that she has had, okay, in her life itself, right, okay, give her a very, very strong negative impact. The first one died in a car accident, and the second relationship was someone that she confesses to, she loved the person, she opened out and poured out to the person, whereas this person actually loves her friend or her co-worker. Okay, so that was the only two relationships she have had in her life. Okay, and that's it. And
Christine
throughout
Chu.
that, Christine Chu, you can actually Google about her Wikipedia, and you can see from her chart itself, right? It is
Pure
pure
matter.
metal. So pure metal is all relating to relationship issues, to
係啦。
partnership issues. Okay.
咁其實咧，阿 Jessie 就講到呢個 case 啦，係好特別嘅 case 啦。咁有好多時候有啲朋友咧就覺得，哎呀死啦！咁樣我嘅八字全部都係金嘅，咁我係咪而家會 go through 呢一個嘅 depression， 永遠都係 stuck 喺呢個 relationship？ 其實咧，我哋今日咧，即係我哋分享呢啲，其實都係要警惕下，即係 awareness 俾大家知道嘅。即係如果你知道自己有咁樣嘅傾向，或者有咁樣嘅問題，就更加係唔愛俾自己去 fall into 咁樣嘅 situations 啦。即係要學習翻，即係喺呢個 relationship 入邊，你應該要學啲乜嘢，係一個過程嚟嘅啫。
Yeah. So always remember your past do not define your future.
Future.
Alright. So it's like whatever that we have had in our lives, our past experience and all that, whatever experiences we have had with our previous relationship doesn't define who you are now or who you will be in the future.
Right.
Alright. So as long as we are continuously growing as a person and learning out from it, okay, alright, and know how to first importantly forgive ourselves
Yes.
and forgive the situation. Be willing to surrender to the whole situation itself. It has a very high chance of saving all of us out of depression state.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because most importantly, what we are doing here is for you to have a better views,
係啦，
so
因
that
為
you
其
can
實
have a
好
better options to
好
choose.
多人咧就會係哇通常咧我哋睇八字又好，
係
玄學又好，其實最重要嘅原因咧就係我哋警惕我哋自己，
係啦
令到我哋自己原來我有咁樣嘅可能性，我哋愛做 prevent，OK，但係唔係叫你睇咗之後你就會越睇越驚。
係啦，或者你睇到你另外一
半
半，原來你另外一半都有咁樣嘅問題，其實呢一個係俾你知道呢一個嘅可能性嘅啫。咁我哋係應該係要需要去點樣去作出某一啲嘢去
改變啦，
係
或者係我去接受佢啦，
同埋原諒自己。
Because a lot of times, like let's say for instance, like Christine's example, right? Ever since that failure in relationship, once her with the first boyfriend died in a car accident, and the second potential love, okay, that she found that actually falls for her colleague, which is also so happened to be her friends, she totally gave up in terms of relationship. Now, depression only happens when we actually give up or reject or refuse to accept certain things in our life. Okay? Now you see, as long as we're willing to surrender to it, right? Okay, depression won't be able to actually harm us so much. Depression happens when we are refusing certain things that is happening in our life itself. Okay? Or in other words, we go into a despair state. Despair means, right, we are despairing in life. We despairing ourselves with friends, we despairing ourselves like pair. We are pairing because everything is yin and yang. It's all about pairing. We pair with family, we pair with siblings, we pair with friends, we pair with loved ones. But now we choose to despair. Despair means we depair ourselves. We no longer want to pair up with a partner. For instance, due to a certain failure or setback that we believe that have happened in our life itself, that now we think that we don't believe in relationship anymore. Okay, so when we do this, right, consciously or subconsciously, slowly, we are also pushing ourselves to the edge because our life starts to actually go into an unbalanced state. Okay, and life itself is all about balance. We need all these things. All right.
好 ，next element 係 earth element。
Okay, so the next element is actually earth element, and earth element relates to friends. So people, if you have like earth element in your day pillar, either on the heavenly stem or the earthly branch itself, right? Okay, right? There are potential that your trigger of depression actually accumulated by your experiences from the friends around you, our connections, the people
其
around
實
you.
嗰個原理同我哋嗰個 partner 係一樣嘅咯喎。
No, you see, partner is a love relationship.
係，因為譬如話好似一個 friends 咧，可能佢都喺語言上面 abuse 你啦，又或者係你唔靚啦，或者你又好肥啦，做咩你唔運動嘅你？
即係你好介意自己朋友講你嘅。
Yeah, so it means that if you have earth over here, right, it means that your needs of friends around you or validation from friends are very important. It's all about validation. So if you have earth over here, right, now to you is like childhood, always looking back into childhood, not so much on adulthood. Are there any possibilities since you're primary school and all these things, right? Your childhood friends or your friends gang up against you in a way that they all plan for a birthday party, example, but they invited everyone except you.
所以都係一種 rejection。
Yeah, it's a rejection because as a child, you see, we are innocent. We feel that everyone is full of love. Like everyone should be like loving everyone else. Okay. To you, you believe that okay, if I have something good, I have a birthday party, I'll invite all my friends. Alright. But then you realize that your friends gang up on a birthday party, but just refuse to invite you to it. So as a child, you go into a position or a situation where you got rejected from friends or
咁
connections.
因為好多時候咧，嗰啲細路哥咧，因為佢太過天真咗，佢可能就
一定有嘅，細個一定有講，我唔中意呢個呢個。
之後你唔可以同我錯。
係啦，或者係即係一齊會講為呢個笑佢啦，或者係講佢唔中意佢某啲嘢。其實好多事情細路哥會發生。其實我都有試過啦，但係對我冇效果啦，因為我冇套。
唔係你嘅係 family issue.
I have this earth issue, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I have earth issue on my day pillar, and I have learned these lessons, which is not a very, very easy lesson for me to learn because I remember exactly when in primary school itself, right? Okay, you are so looking forward that your friends will accept you, and in the sense that exactly the birthday party, all right, a situation happens to me in my childhood days, all right. I assume that my friends will invite me to their birthday party where almost everyone in that group or everyone in the class itself has been invited except me.
Oh.
Alright, and at the time I remember I was only, I think probably in standard 4. I went home, I was crying and I told my mom about it. I was so unhappy, I was so sad. I really honestly think that's like I was wrong. There's something wrong with me that they refuse to invite me to their birthday party. Because as a child, a birthday party is everything, you know. It's as if that you're invited to an Oscar red carpet. Like really. Alright, and I remember that I actually confronted my mom and I was crying and she was there washing dishes in the kitchen and I was sobbing away. I was sobbing away and I couldn't realize why people do not invite me to their birthday party. Alright? And I was lucky because I voiced out. I realized that I was lucky because I talked to my mom about it. And imagine there are children out there who do not know how to voice out, especially if all the time or most of the time they do not have the connection with their parents. Or if their parents are overly busy with work and all that, they don't have a platform to voice out, and it will then become a depressed state in them. Because they will push into them without realizing why, and they will be sad, and it will affect their self-esteem.
But Jessie, will there any possibility, because they need to get attention from their friends, so is there any possibility they will do something just want to get attention from their friends as well?
They need validations. They become like inferior, they become self-esteem very low, they become followers, they will do whatever it takes to please the friends in order to make the friends happy.
因為譬如話好似有啲人叫你做嘢咧，你乜嘢都會應承，就係為咗 get 到佢哋嘅 love 㗎。
咁其實講到呢個咧，我就記得前一排咧，我就睇到一個韓國戲，其實係真係一個好有意思。佢呢套劇即係唔係劇嚟嘅，佢係電影，係講兩個小朋友嘅友誼啦。即係佢即係講緊呢個小朋友咧，佢係好多人會杯葛佢嘅。咁另外一個小朋友咧，佢亦都好多人杯葛佢。咁佢哋兩個喺埋一齊。點知佢哋自己嘅朋友同另外一班朋友好之後，一齊夾埋 boycott 佢咧。其實佢做咗好多事情係為咗係人係，例如偷嘢啦，或者係特登整佢嬲啦，或者係特登做好多嘢去令到佢對方。嗱，如果萬一呢一個嘅情況，再加埋佢有 resource star，咁即係佢會
諗好多，
佢會更加嘅嚴重咯，因為佢會一直諗咁多嘢咯。
Yeah. So whatever Hui put it, imagine that you have these friends issues, and then your chart also you have a lot of resource star, as what we have talked about last week. It means that you are the person who always have memories kept into you, and you always live in the past. Okay, memories and all these things, right? So the chances is because of this, the validation from friends, you feel that you know you're not good enough, and all these things from friends itself will impact you right throughout your life. Okay, so now the reason is why we want to bring out this is let's say as parents, okay, it's very important as parents to look into your children's chart, okay, or your loved ones, to see what could be the potential impact. Now you see, chart like school bullying and all this, like children bullying, all this, honestly it's not something that we can totally stop. it happens all the time. It happens everywhere. But as parents, like we cannot stop. I would say that it's not so fast or so easy for us to totally stop bullying when they go to public or in the school environment and all that. But what we can do is at least we understand our children. We can talk to them. We make them realize, because children, as a child, we are still so naive. Okay, we do not know what's right and what's wrong, and then anything that goes wrong means it's like chances it's our fault. Well, especially when our parents don't talk to us, don't actually like lay out the matters and explain it to us and instigate some wisdom into us itself, right? That particular issues will become a long life problem. Okay?
係啦，最緊要即係要即係自己嘅父母即係一定要係提早發覺，即係自己嘅細路哥會唔會有呢個傾向啦。尤其是再加埋，如果係韌性好重嘅，即係佢唔係好中意講嘢嘅，咁更加係要需要去多啲關注佢哋嘅諗法嘅，即係會唔會係喺學校開唔開心啊，同啲小朋友好唔好啊？因為即係可以提早發覺，咁可以提早去
解決。
唔可以講解決咧，即係可能解釋俾佢哋聽。
啱，因為其實好多時候咧，因為你知道依家嘅阿爸媽咧都好忙啊，所以如果你真係睇到佢有咁樣嘅問題嘅時候咧，咁你就係開始去關懷佢㗎啦，或者係輔導佢啊，或者係問下佢同朋友嘅相處係點樣啊。咁at least 佢知道，原來都係有一個人係關心我嘅，咁佢就唔會收埋㗎啦。
Yeah, at least talk to them before it's too late. All right. So let's say if you're adults yourself, you find that you have this issue and it's not about your children. All right. Try to recall back. Anything happens in your life itself that rejects you, or the people around your children, your friends, your childhood friends, and all this rejected you. That up to now, that it puts you in the situations that you become a people pleaser. You always feel that you have the need to please everyone. You have the need to actually say yes to everyone around you in order to get their validation, so that you feel better and you feel belong to a situation. Because if that over time itself, it also hurts your soul. Means that if you're trying to please everyone, right, eventually our soul will become smaller and smaller and smaller. It will become so suppressed that we eventually go into a depressed state.
係啦，咁其實通常咧 please 人哋嘅人咧，即係其實明明係自己唔係好中意嘅，但係為咗要得到佢嘅認同，或者係或者係唔希望佢有，即係為咗呢個友情啦，你會做好多嘢嘅，咁搞到自己有少少唔開心。其實咁啱，即係前兩日我先同一個朋友傾偈嚟，佢都有呢一個肚嘅問題嘅，咁佢就同我講佢其實佢係有唔開心，因為朋友講咗佢一啲嘢，但係其實佢係唔敢講出嚟，佢想同我講，但係因為我開口問佢，佢先開始咁同我講。係啦，咁因為佢同我講咗之後，佢喊咗，佢就可能會比較舒服
少少。
係啦，所以如果唔係收埋，佢唔係做翻自己咯，佢為咗 please 自己嘅友誼啦。
咁我另外一個我都有一個 friend 啦，咁佢細個嘅時候咧，因為屋企比較窮啦，咁佢就着嘅衫褲可能冇咁新淨啦，話可能係比較舊少少啦，咁嗰啲同學仔咧就會笑佢噶啦，咁可能呢個咁樣嘅一個 issue 咧，就令到佢嘅呢個陰影咧帶到去成長嘅呢個。
Yeah, so actually Rylan shared a situation where, when he was young, he got a friend which is like, not from a very good family background and always wear the clothes. It can be like second-hand, pre-loved clothes and all these things, right? Where the rest of the friends actually make fun of them and saying that, oh, you always wear like old clothes or like not so brand new or not branded enough or whatever. And as a child, if our mental power is not strong enough, if our parents have not given us the time to strengthen our belief and our self-esteem by knowing, as long to be grateful for what we have, okay, it is easy for us to be affected by all these bullying statements. Okay, so as parents itself, it is also very important for us to look into small details like this, because all these things will add up. Okay, and eventually one day it will lead us to a position where we feel so stressed out, so depressed, but unaware of what actually causes it.
係啊，因為咧佢咧咁佢有嘅陰影係因為呢個咁樣嘅陰影咧，等佢長大咗之後咧，佢每一次出門咧，佢都愛着得好，要求自己着得好好。所以呢個你睇佢嘅細個嘅陰影對佢依家長大。
Yeah, I mean some of you will say that, okay, why don't say that because of the younger days itself, right? Of course, being bullied and being laughed at other people, so that now when the person is like an adult already, they will always have this tendency to dress up very nice, to make sure that they dress up very nice. Now it's a good thing. It's a good thing that you have the need to be dressed up very nice to take care of your image. It's also a good thing that you have the need to be very successful, because from young probably people actually bully you and say that you will not be successful. But you see, the emotions that trigger us to be like that is very important, because remember we talk about the emotions can be out of love or out of fear, right? Because we are fearful of people bully us, people make fun of us, that now we think that we need to always put the best side of ourselves. We need to look good, we need to take care of our image. Now these things, if pushed overboard, can also has a high tendency to put us into depression, because we are not doing it because of us, we are doing it because of other people.
How other people look at us.
How other people see us, how other people look at us. And these other people, they might always like, they might look their best, they might look their prettiest, they might look like, like as if like, they are the one that everyone else admires them, but to them, their chances is they still think that this is not enough. So it becomes an illness.
But if we put it in a very positive way, if their thinking is very positive, then it will be another good outcome.
Yeah,
eventually.
so always remember, Chat Fatima means whatever trigger point that trigger us to act on a certain thing itself is very, very important. So today's lesson is actually to see what is those trigger point that could have triggered us into a potential depression in our life. Okay, so the example that I prepared for all of you here will be Pauline. Okay, Pauline Chan's
Chan Bolin.
yeah, I'm not sure, all of you Google her, Pauline Chan is Chan Bolin. Chan Bolin is actually a TV actress, okay, in Hong Kong, and she committed suicide, okay. Now look at the chart, I don't know so much about her biography and all that, but once I look into the chart itself, right, she has a chart full of earth. Now full of earth means, right, her life itself, right, is a very high tendency she's lacking of true friends. Right, all the friends she attracts and all that is all of show, for her to show that how she can be better than other people, is very competitive, because friends is the element, or earth element is the element that she needs to learn. So a lot of times she will feel that she needs to compete with all these people. She needs to be better with all the friends itself. So up to a point where you feel that you couldn't sustain at the top of your game anymore, they will find that it's such a failure, they have lost the battle, and they will choose to die instead of to continue to live on. Okay, because they feel that they have actually lost to their friends or the competitors, so-called.
Maybe most important that all the while, whatever that she did, she just want to please.
Yeah, she will please.
Please for chances to be given to her. Yeah, as well as her structure actually full of resources as well.
Yeah, and one thing, if you're full of earth in your chart, right, your day pillar, the trigger of our depression will be, right, these are the people that always neglect people that loves you. Right? People that love us, we will neglect them because we are so busy trying to convince those who doesn't love us. We are so busy trying to actually get the attention of those who do not love us. So this will be one of the weakness that we have. So you have an earth in your chart itself. Do pay attention to small little things like this. It's a good time for us to reflect and ask ourselves, has us been really taking our friends that really love us for granted and always go chasing after people who don't give a damn in our life? Alright, so that will be one of the things.
係啦，所以其實我哋講緊呢個咧，即係朋友係唔需要多嘅，幾個已經係算好好㗎啦，就好似我哋三個啦，都識咗好多年，係好難得嘅事情嚟嘅。
依家仲一齊做 live。
係啦，即係我哋都冇諗到，今時今日我哋會喺埋一齊做埋，即係咁樣做個 Facebook live 咁。其實頭先 Jessie 就講得好好啦，即係有時候朋友做好多嘢係為咗去 please 朋友去接受自己咧，其實搞到自己都會好辛苦㗎。
我覺得其實好多時候咧，人咧係一個過客嚟嘅啫，係永遠係咁樣 come and go，come and go，因為其實冇一個人可以係同你 forever 嘅，咁你都唔需要去太過執着，同埋有啲嘢真係貴精不貴多，多嘅時候其實好煩嘅嘢，同你講嘅。就好似佢咁啦，你唔使太煩啦，阿 Jessie 啦，好多人揾佢幫手好。係啦，啱啦。咁其實最緊要就係我哋講翻，即係如果要注意到自己呢一個嘅嘢，即係啦，即係唔好過分嘅咁樣去為咗 please 人哋而 please 人哋。
Yeah. So the earth people, right? You know who you are. So probably from now onwards, it's good for us to actually put on a bit of that awareness. Then always remember, we do not have to please everyone.
Yes.
All right. We just have to make sure that we live to our best and be happy. All right. Because it's like at the end of the day, it's from within, not without. Okay. And the next one is actually a water element. So So if you find that on your day master, those of you who have just joined us, if you look at your chart itself, you will find that your day pillar here, either on top of the stem or below at the branch here, and if you see water element, okay? If you have water element, now water relates, the trigger point for water, it is the society.
我哋三個都有咁樣。
Okay, 3 of us also have this problem, okay? Alright, the society is the issues that triggers us that has a high potential that might lead us into depression. Now, our surroundings, the brainwashing through media, the brainwashing through TV, news, magazines and all these things, the thing that actually affect us to believe, okay, influences, unrealistic thing in our life itself, okay, that for instance, success is equivalent to money, example. Beautiful is equivalent to skinny, example. Okay, all right. So the fairer you are, the more beautiful you are.
其實係嘅，因為咧你有睇，如果你唔注意嘅話咧，其實你係 brainwash by 嗰啲 advertisement 嘅。
係啊係啊。
你講哦，你一定要咁白，你先係好靚嘅。係啦，或者
所以我好容易，我好容易俾呢啲吸引㗎啦，尤其是即係講。話如果係飲咗呢個茶可以瘦幾個 kg，話我會㗎啦，即係我會。
所以你好容易俾一啲咁樣嘅嘢去影響到。
尤其是最慘嘅時候咧，就係睇啲韓劇啊，即係咧阿 Jessie 成日鬧我冇睇咁多韓劇啊，好似揾緊歐巴咁樣樣啊。
係啦，或者係你嘅男朋友一定係咁靚仔嘅，全部都係咁靚仔。其實講真咧，你去韓國嘅時候咧，你先發現。唔係個個都好識韓劇。
To my kids, right? They think, okay, especially my kids, right? They think everyone in the US are beautiful. Because it's like they watch Hollywood film, okay? So to them, it's like, oh my God, I want to go US, okay? My son, he wanted so much potato. So much to go to the US, alright? Because he feels that everyone in the US is beautiful. So I told him, yes, one day I will bring him to the US. I want to show him that not everyone is like that. It's the same everywhere you are. They are the beautiful one, they are the less beautiful one to your own eyes, huh? Okay? That might not be the truth, huh? Okay, what you think is beautiful and what you think is not beautiful might not be the truth. That is only your truth. It's not the greatest truth. Also always remember that.
係啊，因為其實咧，我個朋友係響巴黎住㗎啦。咁我哋每個人對巴黎嘅印象就係
浪漫，
好浪漫啊，好靚啊。但係咧，佢講其實唔係嘅，嗰度有好多狗屎啦，嗰啲男仔隨便屙尿啦。你講其實好臭㗎，你唔好以為同埋嗰個 subway 咧，其實真係臭到佢講。所以其實我哋呢啲咧都係被一啲我哋嘅社會上面嘅一啲觀念咧去影響咗我哋嘅。
係啦，
所以水嘅獲得嘅人咧，就好多時候會俾呢啲咁樣嘅一啲觀念咧去影響㗎啦。
係啦，其實敷衍啲嚟講咧，即係我哋好容易俾人呃咯，好容易俾人影響啊。
所以咧電視機話你唔靚咧，你就會好慘啦！我唔靚。
冇啊，我不嬲都覺得自己幾靚下嘅。
It's like if you're a water person, either on your day pillar here, okay, on the stem or on the branch, right? Okay, always remember, all right, don't get brainwashed for all this. Remember, whatever that we do, right? The trigger point when we do certain thing is very important. It's never out of fear. Oh, if you think that you want to go on a diet and you want to be slim, just do it because you want it. Alright? So and after doing it itself, right? Okay, then if you don't feel like it anymore, just don't do it. Okay? Don't be affected by fear. Do whatever your heart feels like doing. It's not that because I need to do this, I need to maintain like this because that is how it's supposed to be. Okay, so if you have that mentality, that is what going to lead us into depression.
係啦，咁啊 Jessie 啦，你講翻呢個 society 咧，即係好容易俾人影響噶嘛。咁若果啦，即係例如即係好似比較權威高嗰啲人咧，或者係有啲工作人士啊，佢其實對自己嘅要求係特別高，咁但係佢喺 society 方面或者係出嚟朋友society 嗰方面咧，發覺到自己都未到咁 up level 嗰陣時，佢哋都會唔會因為呢啲嘢而 depress？
Yeah, they will, because anything that is affected by the society, they will compare. They will compare that they are not as good enough, and they will see other people. Other people is driving such a car, and I cannot afford such a car yet. I'm a failure, therefore.
咁我知我發生咩事啦，因為我本身咧即係 output 都好重下㗎，即係或者係對自己特別要求高咧，即係會成日 compare 自己同人哋朋友啊。哇！而家係30幾歲都已經結婚咗，有埋個即係有埋個樓啊！
咁我哋又再打廣告啦。如果你係單身嘅話咧，
or you know anyone single single and available. Hui is available here.
我哋會宣傳成年嘅。
But you see, that's the thing. Hui, if you really want to get into a relationship, then it shouldn't be by the pressure of the society.
Yes.
It shouldn't be that. It's just
You
that
are right,
now,
man.
Yeah, it's because now that
That's
you
the
are
funny
ready.
simulator.
Yeah, okay. It's just because that now you are ready to go into a relationship.
係
Therefore, you
You
want
go.
to.
係啦，
It's
講
not-
講真講到呢一個咧，我要呼籲下大家咧，即係其實講真係我係好中意過新年啦，但係真係過新年咧，我真係即係攞個紅包係好開心嘅，但係攞完咗咧就係啦，你攞完咗個紅包之後，佢講今年仲有一封㗎啦咁樣。其實真係有少少壓力嘅，係啦，即係我都會好介意下嘅，即係我講我仲揀緊啊，即係我寧願講咁樣，
So you see
好
all
壓
these,
力。
all these people
開
giving us
始有
reaction.
反應
The
啦。
reaction by the people giving our reaction, Cherry, okay, Rachel Ng, Seijin, all these the chances I think
Shit, my primary school friends is here.
they feel what we are talking about. Yes, so you know if you have water element over here, you know that the next moment that people try to give you that pressure as in like, 仲未結婚啊, you're not married yet, when are you getting married? Block out. You know that take the ang pao, take the money, but don't let it affect you.
Yeah.
Okay? So remember, because recently also there's someone telling me is like, Jessie, like Jessie Sifu, like a few years ago you go on a diet, you become so slim, so beautiful. Now you become so fat already lah. Okay, you should go back on the diet. Then I say, why now not beautiful, man? I mean, you know who you are. If you're watching this, I
We
say,
never dare to say that. We just say like don't order so much.
no,
Yeah.
You see, people who knows me knows how I function. You know what? To me, I always act upon my own free will. When I feel like it, no one can stop me. When I don't feel like it, no one can push me. Alright? That's me. Because to me, it's like I make every decision based on my own heart desire. I won't even have a chance to regret over it. So this particular person was telling me that no, last time better. You are slimmer, sexy. I say now not sexy, man. I say now voluptuous.
Your good friend Kevin Tan is
But-
here.
Okay.
He definitely will say that, yeah, Jessie.
Really? So you see, whatever it is, whether we go on a diet or whether we want to put on weight, we want to be fairer, we want to be darker, do it with your heart. Not just because someone else's expect you or the society expect you to be in such a way.
You know, at this point of time, right, I wish that my boss is here to watch this, and then I can tell my boss, I'm actually very depressed from the society. I think you better pay me high, and then I can dress a very nice dress and drive a very good car, and then I feel good, and then I feel more motivated into my work.
Cherry say, I understand how you feel. So I think Cherry understands how you feel, really. Okay? Lina actually give a very strong arm, 加油. Bunny bun is not others' word that hurt you, it's your own thought that control your feelings.
Yes.
Exactly.
Correct.
Exactly. Alright. So now here I have an example of a water element person, okay, of the society. So Johnny Depp is water on a day master. Just now we talked about like Leslie Cheung. Leslie Cheung is also water element. Okay,
yes.
Leslie Cheung is also water.
Perfection.
Yeah, perfection. I think we have another example.
We got
Here,
Anthony.
Anthony Bourdain. Anthony Bourdain passed away 2 weeks ago, committed suicide. Okay, due to depression as well. Now he is also highly affected by water. It means society, expectation.
Okay.
Okay, see, it's like whenever you are affected by the society, you will always fall into the trap that you always need to compare, and you will never feel that it is good enough, even though you are really, really very good. Okay, so always remember, if you're water element, right? Okay, don't let anyone or anything affects how you feel inside. Do whatever you feel is right, and just ignore what other people say. Okay, because no one knows you better than yourself. Of course, then the last one we want to talk about is the wood element. Okay, now wood element, the things that trigger wood element on your day pillar means either you have a wood here or a wood here, right? Is your personal experiences. Just like wood element, right? Wood is the element where whatever, where the sun is, where the water is, whatever the environment or the wood has gone through, it will shape out in such a way. So whatever that the seed that you have seeded, that is the outcome or the plant or the fruit that you're going to get. Okay, so it's all about your own personal experiences. Long-term exposure to something that fits your belief. Long-term exposure, let's say for instance, if we are born or we have a long-term exposure into war, we are always war, people are fighting and all these things, to us that this experience will make us believe that the world will never be able to achieve peace. Alright, now long-term experience of war doesn't mean that we have to go back to like World War II, or now we have to go Afghanistan or whatever, right? Example, in a family itself, ever since young we have been exposed and experienced, right? Okay, people are fighting all the time, or your parents going out with strangers also, they will fight out of nothing, they're fighting everywhere. This will instigate and form your belief. To you, you believe that in order for me to survive, I need to fight. In order for me to survive, I need to fight and compete with other people. It's either them or me. It builds that scarcity mentality. To you, it's either either you die or I die. Okay, there only can be one. And because of this itself, it will put you into a very depressive mode. Because it will depress you in a sense, okay, because it's like at the end of the day, the universe is abundant of everything. Everything is built to coexist with each other. It's not about really the fighting part. Alright, so if what we believe is, alright, no, we need to fight till the end, we lose love. Okay, we lose trust. Okay, and at the end of the day, we will lose ourselves.
咁講翻呢一個木咧，即係代表咧木其實咧就好似一顆種子咧，你種響自己嘅身上啊。即係如果你過往嘅一啲嘅經歷咧，會令到你有所謂自己嘅信念啦，或者係自己嘅諗法嘅。咁好多時候係活在自己嘅經驗上邊嘅，即係或者有啲人嚟講，以我嘅經驗曾經係咁樣樣，所以佢先會造成咗佢咁樣嘅信念啦。咁樣嘅人咧，即係佢會可能會比較辛苦啲啦，因為對自己嘅信念係太過強啊。係啦，咁我自己本身都有一個朋友咧，佢係木型嚟嘅。咁佢其實我發覺到咧，佢會崩潰，如果佢自己本身嘅呢一個嘅工作能力唔係咁好，因為對佢嚟講，佢係一個 fighter 嚟嘅。可能佢過往嘅一啲嘅經歷咧，同佢自己講，即係佢阿爸同佢講，如果你唔做工嘅話咧，你就會點樣講咧，即係冇得食啦。因為佢阿爸即係曾經係 bankrupt 過嘅。咁佢細個就想做飛機師。但係佢又做唔成啦，咁結果佢就而家係做咗另外一份工。其實佢對佢自己呢一個經歷係非常之不滿嘅，係啦。到而家咧，所以佢工作到好緊要努力啦，其實都係為咗去證明俾自己睇佢係得嘅。
So remember, our personal experience is also very, very, very important. It shapes us. But out of the 5 elements, right, the one that easiest for us to go through or to overcome is actually the wood element, because it's personal. It's us. It's our own belief. It's whatever we have gone through that builds our belief. So it's the easiest one for us to overcome if we really want to, because it's not something that has been impacted to us by other factors. It's about how we see a situation. This is exactly how you see whether a cup is half full or half empty. So right, okay, so as long as we can actually understand this and we can remind ourselves to see from the greater goods or the better side of things, or always adapt to a grateful heart. Always remember to remind ourselves to be grateful. To be grateful of the things, like a lot of times, right, okay, now if we want to stay away from depression, one of the things that we have to always remind ourselves to feel. Okay, depression is when we are reluctant to feel anymore. We're reluctant to feel that we are sad. We're reluctant to feel that we are angry. We're reluctant to feel that we are depressed. The more we reluct to face the emotion, the higher the chances we get into depression. Okay, so don't struggle over it. Feel it, and then the next moment you feel unhappy. The next moment you feel depressed. In a way that always remind ourselves to be grateful. Now, a gratitude emotion, gratefulness is one of the emotion that if you really feel that, there's no chance for any negative emotions to get into our life. Every small little things. Think about the family that we have. Think about the loved ones that we have. Not even that. Think about the senses. We are here. All of you are given the privilege to watch Facebook Live. You know how many people out there do not have the privilege to even see Okay, they can't even see lights. Okay, they can't even see. They are like either they have accidents or they were born blind and all that. No, all of us should be blessed that we can feel and we can touch. Okay, because a lot of people can't even move their arms. Okay, they can't even touch. They can't even feel. All of us can do this, and in a way that all our 5 senses are like present, and it is good. All right, we should be grateful even for all these small little things. Okay, and the moment that we are grateful, the chances of us to stay away from depression is also of course at its best.
係啊，因為其實I totally agree on 師傅講嘅嘢啦。因為點解咧？其實你有冇發現咧？我哋依家嘅社會太快咗啦，快到我哋連我哋自己根本就冇去enjoy 或者係冇去 feel 嗰個 moment 啊。譬如好似有啲人咧，就係你講我哋食 lunch 咯，食咗之後咧就趕翻去啦。但係佢食咗啲乜嘢，或者係辣嘅，或者係乜嘢，佢根本就唔知道㗎。其實你問翻你自己啦，你今日食咗啲咩 lunch 咧？可能你已經唔記得咗。其
實講到阿懷倫講呢個係好好嘅，即係。即係我近排咧講真，我真係實在太忙啦。咁好坦白講，我已經係忙到係差唔多係可以話係要崩潰嘅。點解我講崩潰咧？即係我發覺到自己係有呢個嚴重性嘅，係啦，我會 call 你。我每個拜二會見你哋啊嘛，即係
投訴嘅時間嚟。
係啦，即係我會即係我發覺到自己有一個傾向就係我真係有好嚴重嘅呢一個嘅。忘形啊，即係我會唔記得嘢嘅，即係我記得咧前2個星期我要去泰國嗰陣時咧，其實我個同事係 remind 咗由7點到10點 remind 咗我5次攞 passport， 但我真係即係我係我一定一翻去要攞 passport， 其實我真係有少少係已經唔記得咗。even 今日咧，即係我有一個同事，其實佢係好大年紀嘅個 uncle 嚟嘅，佢講輝啊，我仲老過你啊，你有冇可能？我講即係我亦都要發覺到自己，就算你問我食嘢，即係好似一個 robot 咁樣，已經係有少少 numb 咗啦。係啦，所以我覺得其實當自己發覺到有自己呢一個嘅傾向嗰陣時，其實真係好適合。係allocate 一啲時間係俾自己嘅，即係我本身其實可能因為我太多 output star， 我有好多 influencer， 即係我其實係一個幾自律嘅人嚟嘅，即係我會 set 時間係俾自己咯。
同埋咧，如果你真係覺得因為其實 depression 嘅人咧，最重要係你俾佢愛啊。咁其實你唔需要同佢講太多嘢㗎，你淨係同我講。你仲係同佢講咧，我會嚟支持你嘅，你嚟啦，我俾你一個抱啦。其實呢個一個 action 係好 strong 好 strong。係啊，
老細你聽到冇啊？你快啲 call 我同我講啊，支持下我啊！即
係話抱你，咁我唔支持。
唔得，老闆娘抱我得，咁樣老闆抱我唔得，咁樣。但係最緊要係老闆知道，其實我就你崩潰㗎啦，你要多啲關心我。
Because you see, this is very true. Okay, so whatever they've said, okay, now. Always give ourselves some time. No matter how busy you are, at least that 5 to 15 minutes every day. Do something that your heart truly desires. Never give yourself the excuse that you have no choice. Please, all of us have a choice. Okay? Alright, but the thing is, most of the time we have chosen to give up that choice for someone else. Okay? We think that we have no choice because we think that we have to commit all our time to our career. Okay, we have to commit all our time to our family, our children, our in-laws, or whatever. That is not true. Okay, our life is ourselves. Our soul belongs to us. So always remember one thing is at least commit 5 to 15 minutes doing the thing that you truly wants to do most.
我一個 friend 咧，佢好得意㗎，佢點樣去錫佢自己嘅 body 咧？係 when 佢 shower 嘅時候咧，佢 shower 嘅時候講嫂啊，你今日好好啊，你幫我
That is a very good way. I don't say that. He has a friend that is like very cute. That every time he showers, he will actually tell your hand, as in, oh hand,
thank you, 你今日你幫我攞咗嘢，你行咗好耐。
But this is exactly what I actually tell people who self-condemn their own physical body. People who always complain that they have like big belly, who always complain that they have like.
Actually, Jessie have taught us what they say that. Have you ever just nakedly, just look at the mirror and just. Actually, I did. I did it every night.
Try to
and then I just look at myself.
Be naked, stand in front of the mirror tonight. Okay, stand in front of the mirror and appreciate every part of your body. Imagine if every part of your body has feelings and soul, and every time you talk to them, right, you actually put them into a very depressive mode. Imagine you complain lah, okay, like my belly is too big lah, my arm is too big lah. Every part of you keep on complaining. Imagine they have to listen to this throughout all these years of your life. How sad that is.
係啊，就好似佢哋做一個 experience 係一棵樹咧，你日日鬧佢嘅，同埋另外一棵樹咧，你係日日讚佢嘅話咧，
一定有影響嘅，一定有睇到個影響嘅。
Alright, so remember from now on, okay, of course, like depressions and all these things, right? It starts from minor little things in life, okay? It won't just come like suddenly. It's just these small little things that we do, or our habits, or our behavior, or our belief in life itself that leads us to that big hole or big black hole of depression. So if we are aware of these small little things and stop doing it to ourselves, then the chances is we won't even get into depression.
係啊。So 等陣如果係未沖涼嘅朋友咧，咁你等陣翻去就試下我咁樣摸下佢，錫下。
Shower, love your body.
係啊，通常我哋沖涼係咁樣就係㗎啦嘛。
It's like ask my kids, I will actually show them my bye-bye hand. It's like not nice, man. I will show it in front of them. It's me, okay? Alright? And I show them my big belly. And then if they make fun of it, I tell them, okay, all 4 of you came out from here.
係啦，
咁
所以我哋 recap 翻咧，即係如果係睇翻呢一個5個咧，即係我哋上個星期咧，我哋亦都教咗大家5個方法啦，同埋呢一個5個嘅。咁其實你如果發覺到自己有 combinations of 呢一組合，同埋上個星期嘅嗰一個組合咧，其實唔係講你係已經有咗呢個憂鬱，只不過你係有呢個 potential。嗱，我係一個人版，好坦白講，我雖然係冇 resource 啦，但係我係中咗呢一個嘅水火衝啦，之後我係嘅output star 係好緊要犀利㗎啦，同埋我亦都有呢一個嘅 influence star 嘅。
我細蚊叫你好重。
係啦，咁我又
叫你重又water重嘅話，
係啦，咁我又加埋我又
同water。
係啦，我哋又water又重啦，所以我哋都好地地嘅。
Okay, so it's always about awareness. Realize it. Okay, we are emotional beings. Okay, there are ups and downs in life. Okay, sometimes we fell into a position where we feel slightly unhappy. It's okay, feel it. Just don't be like be into it. Don't prolong that feeling. Okay, unnecessarily. Don't choose to be dwelling into that feeling. That's all. Let it come. Let it go.
Yeah, especially when 即係我平時好多時候都會同自己嘅身邊嘅朋友或者係同事咧，其實接受自己係一個可以係話一個唔容易嘅事啦。即係有時候你接受到你自己，原來我係有咁樣嘅問題，係唔容易嘅。
But that's the fun part. Everything is so easy, right? What's like life is so boring. Okay, the fun part is every small little things, even back to accepting ourselves, is a lesson.
Yes.
Okay, it's a lesson so fun that we learn and we grow from it. So I mean, my daughter actually asked me last week after doing this depression topic, right? Okay, and actually asked me, Mom, why are you throwing out informative topic like this on Facebook Live for free? Okay, she is that.
Yeah, just now she was struggling, right?
I'm so glad that she asked me that question because she asked me, right, Mom, why are you throwing out all this information where you can actually make it into a workshop and sell that workshop and earn money out of it? I am happy that she knows how to make money, okay? But I also told her one thing, there are certain things in life itself, right, okay? It's not really about making money all the time. Now, I need the money, I make the money. But there are certain things that, we need to give in order to take, all right? In Chinese, we call you se, bin you tak, all right? So there are things, and especially when the Kate Spade incident and also the Anthony Bourdain incident, and I really think, and also at that same week, Hui Yi was telling me about a friend that she have also going through depression, and I know that I get a very clear sign that this is definitely the topic that I need to talk about. It's not about the money. It's about reaching out there. It's for everyone. At the same time, it's also a reminder for ourselves to keep ourselves aware. So I really hope that all of you have at least learned something out of this. Okay, all right, benefited from it. Remember to look into your loved ones and try to see what are the things that we can help them. And not only I will do a part 2, I think I suddenly realized that I will even do a part 3 or even a part 4. Okay, where I need to actually reach out to people, because the part 3 and part 4 will focus on how to say the antidote to prevent. Not only to prevent, now you realize, you identify, you realize what are the causes, what are the triggers, okay? So the coming episodes itself, if possible, I want to find people to come into our Facebook Live to talk about what are the potential things that we can do, lifestyle, diets, okay? What are the things we can do in order for us to prevent or overcome, okay, depression itself. So I really hope all of you has benefited from it. Thank you so much for actually tuning in instead of watching World Cup. Our fear was like, oh, will there be anyone watching because it's like World Cup?
Oh, it's okay. They just ended the match.
Alright, it just ended. Okay. Alright, thank you so much for being here with us tonight, and I really hope to see you all next week. Alright, and I really hope that I can actually reach out to someone to guest in our Facebook Live itself to talk about what are the things that we can do in our daily life itself. Simple little things that can actually help us to prevent depression. So if you find that this session is helpful, please help me to subscribe, okay, turn on your notifications, and also please share the sessions itself. Thank you so much, so that you can actually reach out to more people. Good night, and remember, take a bath, take a shower, look at your body, admire it, okay? Start loving yourself, everyone. Good night.
Bye.
See you next week.
Bye.